The good, the bad, and the odd. It's a thing.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd with your host, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, so this is a Daisy Daisy, and your pick off from the career of Warwick Davis based on our Willow,
Yes.
um, which I have to tell you, I got bought on 4K on Wednesday. I just,
Yeah.
I know I'm going to watch it again. Probably,
Yeah.
I feel like it might even become part of my Christmas, non-Christmas watch, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Christmas watch for non-Christmas films because it's just so much fun. But yeah, so based on that, you've picked Warwick Davis. Tell
Yeah.
everyone about it.
So Warwick Davis did a bunch of voice work for Lucasfilm related stuff and a lot of adjacent things like that. In particular, in this case, it was Labyrinth, the
Yes.
David Bowie film.
Yeah, yeah. What did he voice in that? I didn't
He was
spot
just
it.
one of the goblins, so
Oh,
he's just
okay.
like part of an
Oh, of course,
ensemble.
because he wasn't
So
famous at this point, was he?
no,
Right.
he
Yeah.
wasn't.
Um,
Wasn't a particularly big name
Now,
then.
I thought I hadn't seen this film, but I got vaguely idea what it's about. But in
Hmm.
fact, I did watch it. I found a review on Letterboxd. I did. Well, sorry, not a review, just a rating
Hmm.
from 2013. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's fair enough to forget you've kind of watched a film after 13 years, I think.
Yeah,
Um, but yes. Okay. So you've seen it before or not?
I've never seen this film before.
Okay, right, okay. What's your general thoughts then? Let's do
I quite
non-spoilery
enjoyed
stuff.
it, but it was very strangely paced.
Yes,
Uh,
the musical numbers made it weird, right? Um,
yeah.
Especially the first. For some reason, the first one threw me right off, and not in an unenjoyable way. You just
Hmm.
thought, blimey, I thought David Bowie's slumming it a bit here.
Yeah.
But you know what? Once the first number was done, I was kind of okay with it after
Hmm.
that because I knew what to expect. Apparently, the first draft of the screenplay was by Terry Jones, Monty Python from Monty Python,
Yeah.
which doesn't surprise me that much.
Yeah. Tracks.
I think he was involved in Jabberwocky too, directing Jabberwocky, and he's got a similar.
That's another one I've not seen. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I believe directed by Jim Henson, right?
yeah.
I quite enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I have to say, the pay it was the weird tonality sometimes.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting because Jennifer Connelly was playing. It was basically a stroppy teenager, which we don't
Yeah.
usually get. I mean, we've had Alice and Dorothy,
Yeah. They
right?
usually
Dorothy's a
are.
teenager, but they're not stroppy, hate the world kind of
No. Usually
teenagers.
you get like a more precocious sort of teenager.
Yes, you do,
They're like
exactly.
knowledgeable, they're a bit wise beyond the years. No, this was a teenager acting like a teenager.
Yes, very angry. Angry at her stepmother,
Yeah.
and I presume her
Andrea Dad.
stepbrother or half brother,
Yeah.
I guess. In a kind of, she was a bit of a dick right at the beginning, but
Oh
kind of
yeah,
made
she
up for
was a
it.
problem.
Yeah, she was treating the toddler really,
Yeah.
scaring him and shouting at him and waking him up, all sorts.
Yeah.
And it was like, bit of a misdirect right at the beginning, wasn't it? Like it looked like
Mm.
we're in a fairy tale setting because
Yeah,
she,
no, but she's just laughing. She's just doing
well,
some live action role play.
role
She's just
play, but she's
wandering
got a
around the
medieval dress on, like a princess's medieval dress on,
Yeah.
and she's quoting lines that sound like they should be sort of medieval, but then you realise
Yeah.
it's modern times, and she's actually running in the rain. She's hitched up the dress, and she's got blue jeans under them, and things like
Yeah.
that, right? Jennifer Connelly was all right in this. She's
Yeah.
a great actress, adult actress. She was okay. I
Yeah.
thought she was fine. Um, uh, uh, but you know what? I did enjoy it. It reminded me of things I like. And that's not to say it was bad, but it just reminded me of better things. It just reminded me of other things I like. Um,
Yeah.
Personally, we'll go through those things in a
Yeah.
bit, maybe. But yeah, so yeah, kind of liked it, and you kind of liked it, right?
Yeah. Oh no,
So
I really enjoyed it. It's just very strange.
Yeah,
So,
it was the most disconcerting thing about the whole thing was David Bowie's trousers. They were just too
yeah,
tight, man. They were too tight.
yeah,
Oh god, it's like oh god, sausage fest.
yeah.
Uh, there was a bit of that, and it seemed weird.
There's that, and then yeah, some stuff at the end that I'll go over when we talk about
Yes,
that.
there's some stuff at
But
the end, but that
yeah,
was the script, right? That was the script. And
yeah,
actually, that bit that was scripted could have been way creepier. They actually
mm,
delivered what could be super creepy in a and about as non-creepy as you could make it, if you know what I mean. It was still
yeah,
creepy a bit, but you
yeah,
know, that's the way it was. Um, yeah, all right, we're gonna get into spoilers then.
yeah,
So yeah, I didn't expect it to be a musical. All I thought when it started was David Bowie's done the intro music. That's pretty cool. He's done an intro song.
yeah.
Um, but then when there were songs throughout and kind
Uh,
of electronic disco songs.
yeah, well, they're David Bowie songs.
David,
It's
well,
very David Bowie
yeah,
song.
but they were kind of cheesier than he usually does. Well, there was one song I really liked. I can't, the one where she was, well, nearer the end. We'll talk about that when we get.
Yeah,
I quite like that song. So yeah, so he made this after Dark Crystal, right? So this was
yeah,
86. Dark Crystal was 82. Um, the
mm,
Muppetry was very good,
yeah.
really good,
All the
really.
goblins were great.
The
Hoggle,
little
who's actually played
characters.
by Brian Henson, Jim Henson's son.
Hoggle
Uh,
was fantastic.
yeah.
That model work was amazing. Did they even
Mm,
get nominated for model work in this? Because they
I
should have
don't
been.
know. Yeah, they
It
really
was
should have.
really good. It was really, Hoggle was amazing as a creation. Quite
Mm.
like was it Ludo, the troll?
Yeah, the big like gorilla thing.
Because sometimes I thought she kept calling it Bluto, and it says, well, it can't be Bluto, so Ludo,
Yeah,
Ludo. Yeah. So it starts off. Should we go through the story? I
yeah.
guess.
Let's sort of
Let's do
quickly
that.
run through
So
this.
she's doing some role play in the park with her dog, who's
Yeah.
called Merlin. She's kind of King Arthur obsessed because she's. We also find out she had a teddy bear
Well,
called Lancelot,
she
right?
has a teddy
She
called
has to tell
Lancelot.
her, yeah, that's true. Um, and she's Sarah as her name. She's 16 years old, and
Yeah.
she's reading a book, reciting these lines from a book called The Labyrinth, right?
Mm.
And she has trouble remembering the last line. She can never remember. And then she realizes she's late home. She's meant to be babysitting for her half brother, Toby, little toddler, barely
I'd say
walking.
younger than a toddler. This kid can't stand on its own.
Well, it does at one point. It's a kid who's just learnt to stand up. I'd say that sort of
Yeah.
level, and not very well.
Mm.
I would say 18 months,
Maybe, yeah.
20 months, something
If
like
that.
that. She comes home and her stepmother, and there's a lot of references to fairy tale-ish kind of stuff. Like she treats me like an evil stepmother.
Mm.
Um, she's arguing with them and slamming doors. It's all this not fair stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Life's not fair and all that. Um, and she's annoyed that Toby's been given her teddy bear, Lancelot. And she's fed up with him crying. And the kid does cry, but you
Yeah.
know, she doesn't do anything to stop him crying.
Yeah. Well, she kind of works in the opposite because she keeps like shouting at him,
Yeah,
basically.
she does things to make him cry, right? And I
Yeah.
think she knows she's doing that, but you know, teenagers.
Yeah.
Um, but what we do see is all these weird little goblins in cupboards around the place going, make the wish.
I really like the introduction of that because there's no fantasy element up until she goes, it's like, I kind of wish you'd be taken by the Goblin King. And then you just see like a wall of goblins and all their eyes just open. And it's like, ooh, this is
Did she
kind of,
wish? Did she wish?
yeah,
Did she make the
like, did she
wish?
do it? Did she
Did
do
she
it
do it?
right?
And they're
It's
all
like, she
talking to her.
just needs to say the words.
There's an
It's like,
element of gremlins to
yeah,
this part, really specifically. You know, things in cupboards running around. And I really like the scene where she finally makes the wish. The
I like how offhand it is that
Yeah,
first when
oh,
she actually
I
was
wish
just
the
like, "Oh, I
goblins had
really
taken.
wish the goblin would take you."
And she
And it's
just
like,
walks out the
"Yep,"
room, right?
it's like, got it.
And then as she walks out the room, the crying stops. She's just like,
Yeah,
Toby? She goes back, it's not in the bed. And then we get this really kind of cool, sort of suspenseful scene, tense scene where wherever she's not looking, and you see her looking one way, but you can see movement
Yeah,
behind her,
you can see
the
over her
goblins, and
shoulder.
she keeps catching this in the corner of her eye, and it's disconcerting, right?
Mm,
And she doesn't know what she's, she starts to realize this
yeah.
stuff's going on. Um, so she then realizes what she's done, and uh,
Jareth the Goblin King
David
appears.
Bowie in a full
Yeah,
spiky wig and makeup, right?
yeah,
Being very David Bowie, pretty good in this. I've seen
yeah,
him in other films, and his acting is usually oh bad to okay. Let's put it that way.
yeah. I
Um,
think this is the most David Bowie-esque I've seen him in something.
yeah,
Admittedly, the only other thing I've seen him in is Twin
Twin
Peaks,
Peaks.
where he's
Yes,
doing a weird like Southern accent.
yes,
But
yeah.
this is like if someone had to do a David Bowie impression, this is David Bowie doing a David Bowie
When I
impression.
see David Bowie in something like this, I was thinking of Johnny Depp in Sweeney Todd because I feel like he's doing a bit David Bowie
Mm.
in his performance,
Yeah,
and
a little.
also he's got big hair like David Bowie's got.
Yeah,
So yeah, so the Goblin King turns up and he says, um, you can have whatever you want if you let me keep the baby, kind of thing is
yeah,
the discussion. And she said, "No, I want but I want but I want him back." And he goes, "I just did what you asked." And he says, "I'll give you 13 hours to get to the labyrinth, get to my castle, and that if you don't make it, he'll become a goblin." And
mm,
it's a big trickstery kind of
yeah,
vibe, isn't it? So then she turns up in this wasteland. Now, I think pretty much everything was in studio from this point on, right? It was
yeah.
pretty much.
I think
Um,
yeah. The only thing I can think of was maybe there's a ballroom sequence later that might have been a location,
oh yeah,
but
yeah. Good point. Possibly.
that's the only time it's definitely not. Well, everything else is definitely studio.
Yeah,
Put it like that.
she's in this. She turns up in this sort of place. And she meets a dwarf called Hoggle.
Yeah,
Now this is someone in a suit with a big head
yeah. It's a child.
model,
It's
right?
Brian Henson.
Yeah, that head was amazing. It
Yeah,
gave a full performance. I could not
yeah.
believe how good it was as an animatronic head. It was terrific. And she keeps getting the name wrong.
Well,
I
they
had a
all
bit.
keep getting the name wrong.
Hoggle is his
It's
name.
like, oh yeah, Hogwarts. There's
Yeah, she calls him
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts at one point, which gave me a chuckle. It's like, is that
Yeah,
why J.K. Rowling got the name? Maybe I don't know.
maybe. Yeah,
Um, and he starts getting annoyed, and he sort of says to her, "Yeah, I can show you," but basically she can't even get in. Right? It's just a
yeah,
wall, and he's saying, "Well, you can go that way." Yeah. Well,
yeah. You can go
he
that way.
basically
You can
shows
go.
her how to get in. Right?
Yeah,
And the first thing she does, she's going. It's just a long corridor to the left or a long corridor to it. She
yeah,
doesn't know which way to go, and she kind of a little worm, doesn't it? Well,
yeah.
there's all
This
these
this
weird
bit really
creatures.
got me with how British the humor is, which it should be because it's one of the Monty Python guys.
Yeah.
But it's just like is also they introduce him pissing in a little pond, and it's like
Yes.
they're basically the least dignified way you could introduce someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then 2 seconds later, they introduce fairies, and Hoggle starts spraying them with bug
Spraying
spray.
them, and Sarah's like, "Don't spray the fairies.
Yeah,
Why are you
they're
doing that?" And
enchanting.
it's going
She,
58, 50
yeah,
as it's doing it. She
he's
picks
counting up. She picks one up and it bites her, and she's like, "Ow! Didn't realize they did that."
And he goes, "Well, what do you think fairies do?" He goes, "Grant your wishes." And he carries on spraying the fairies. It's kind
Yeah,
of funny. There's a
and then
lot of British accents in this too, isn't there?
yeah,
American and English, right?
yeah, and
So
then this little worm that she bumps into while she's in the corridor portion of the labyrinth. It's just very. It's like, oh, come in and get some tea for you.
yeah,
It's
yeah. And
mm,
she's there, she goes, "I've got to go one way. Shall I go this way?" He goes, "Oh no, don't go that way. Never go that way. Whatever you do, never go that way."
mm.
And she's like,
It's like,
"Okay,
yeah,
I'll go
thanks.
this way." And as she walks off, he goes, "Thank goodness she didn't go that way. That would have taken her straight to the Goblin's castle."
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
see.
I was like,
Um,
ah,
yeah. Um, Meanwhile, we see Jareth
Jared,
with Toby
baby.
just jigger. I mean, the baby's crying. I'm not surprised. It's surrounded by mad Muppets, right?
Yeah, it's
How
just
did this
like,
kid not get traumatized through this, right?
yeah.
Um, so they're all like shouting and stuff like that, and then we go
Yeah, they're
in.
like kicking each other, they're smacking each other. Like the goblins are just beating the tar out of each other and
Yeah,
laughing. It is very Gremlins.
yeah, and Jareth is just playing with the baby. They're throwing it in the air and catching it,
Yeah,
and it is funny when you see it when David Bowie he's clearly holding a doll, right? It's clearly
yeah,
that, but then it cuts to him holding the real baby and throwing him up in the air and all this sort of stuff. The baby actually does stop crying and starts laughing at all this stuff going on. They're
yeah,
like these goblins are like hitting each other. One's um, blow using a blowpipe on a chicken, and they all think that's hilarious.
yeah,
And weird stuff like that, right? It's really quite silly. Um,
yeah,
so, uh, so Sarah carries on. Oh, also, she's marking her path with her lipstick. We do see
yeah,
earlier she has a lipstick which she puts on.
yeah.
Because she's 16, she's gonna do something.
It's a lot of like, it's the film is a coming of age, really.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
So there's a lot of stuff of her acting maturely, but still acting like a spoiled teenager.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and the lipstick is part of the maturer sort of side of this.
Yeah, but she uses lipstick to sort of mark the path so she
Hmm.
can work her way back. But every time, what we see is the first time she must put balls on, a little character, like almost like the brownie from Willow, right?
Yeah,
Comes up from underneath the stone and sort of is muttering to itself and turns the stone over so the marking disappears. And then other ones are just turning the markings because she's
yeah,
like drawing arrows. And at one point, she starts going one way, and there's like it's a dead end. So she goes back, and she sees the marking has changed. Says, "Well,
mm,
that's not fair." A constant call at the beginning of the film is, "That's not fair."
yeah,
She says that a lot. So she's wandering around this labyrinth, meeting there's weird little creatures. There's like a bush with eyes, what just
mm,
watching her. And things like that, right? And
yeah,
then she falls down a trap door.
yeah.
Falls
There's
through.
constantly falling down trapdoors in this
There's a
film.
lot of that. It's very Alice in Wonderland in that
Yeah.
respect, right?
So
Um,
th this one is headed by a the very common thing of two guards. One tells the truth, one tells lies.
right. Yeah, so
Uh,
she knows the trick. So what will
Except they're
he say?
weird kind of weasel things.
And they got
Uh,
two hair. They got a
yeah,
head at the bottom and a
it's
head at the
two of them
top.
hiding behind a shield, like holding on to it,
Yeah.
and the head. There's like, yeah, it's very strange.
Right. Let's talk about what other films or whatever reminded you. What did you? Anything else come
Honestly,
to mind?
Dark Crystal and Alice in Wonderland were the two sort of
So
in the
I got
forefront.
a couple more.
Mm,
I have Return to Oz. It
mm.
definitely reminded me of Return to Oz. And the thing it reminded me about, and this is a bit obscure for probably a lot of the listeners, there used to be a TV series in the late 60s called Puff and Stuff, which
Oh, okay,
you've seen when
yeah,
you were a boy. I used to watch when I was a boy, and I showed you when you were a boy.
yeah,
And that is a magical land where everything seems to be alive, right? And
yeah,
talking and doing little asides
yeah,
and it's kind of goofy. Really strongly reminiscent to me of that show
yeah,
in many respects, with a Muppet twist. And that's what the Muppets do. Inanimate
yeah,
objects do talk,
yeah,
and animals talk, and so on and so forth. A very strong vibe. Puffin stuff in particular for me.
mm.
But Return to Oz 2, which was made around the same time, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Um, Though that's a bit darker in terms of it's literally
Yeah,
more scary stuff going on, right?
yeah.
Um,
Well, that's intentionally
am I
more
dreaming, or is the
horror.
evil witch in Willow the evil witch in Return to Oz as well?
Yeah,
Oh, it is. Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Okay,
yeah.
well, we
But
could have
Mulder
done
is
Return to
Mom
Oz
Goody.
then, right?
Yeah, I
um,
think we've done Return to Oz though.
oh,
So,
okay, yeah, yeah, we have covered it. You're right. She falls down this hole and she's kind of locked in, but there's something moving in the darkness. She's like, "What's going on?" And it turns out it's Hoggle, and she's really quite
mm,
pleased to see him. But Jarrus deliberately put him there, I think, to mislead her, or lead her
Yeah,
back to the beginning.
Hoggle's a double agent of
Yeah,
sorts. He's
under
not
threat,
particularly
really.
willing, but he keeps getting threatened with the bog of
Yeah.
eternal stench.
Now he mentions she's yeah the bog of eternal stench gets mentioned a lot. That's another
Yeah.
thing that title alone made me think of Princess Bride
Yeah.
because there's a kind
Well,
of similar swamp in there with rodents of unusual size.
yeah, so that actually reminded me of Neverending Story
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the Swamp of Sadness, I think it's called.
There's a lot. Well, swamps seem to be a thing in this genre, in this
Yeah,
80s sort of
fantasy genre.
fantasy. I mean, legend, right? Legend's got
Yeah,
that too. So he says we're in an oubliette. And she says, "What's an oubliette?" He goes, "Where you're forgotten," and that's what it means.
yeah,
Oubliette means forgotten. It's deliberately traps in castles, so people go down them, or sometimes prisoners put in them, and you're just left to starve or dehydrate.
yeah,
That's it. You're forgotten. And
yeah,
it's oublier is French, the French verb to forget, right? So
yeah.
oubliette, oubliette, oublier. So so Hoggle is there. Then Jareth
Death shows up and does some
appears.
more of his fushigi ball thing.
Yeah,
Have
and he's she's shit
you seen the
talking him.
behind the scenes for that, by the way?
No,
So David Bowie cannot do that. Like, so they got a professional like fushigi ball, I don't know, player,
right,
to do like basically the arm under his armpit sort of skit.
right,
And
okay.
it's just so there's like just this guy stood behind David Bowie, like just doing this. Well,
Wow, I didn't notice at all.
yeah, it's a good
Okay.
effect.
Okay,
So
that what totally worked. But she's shit talking him, and he goes, "Oh well, let's add to it." And he's got this glass ball that is representing her dreams, I think.
something like
So,
that.
or it's like this is
Yeah.
the gift she's being offered to stop to give up trying to find the baby, right?
Mm.
Um, and he just throws it down the dark corridor, and then and Hoggle's like, "It's the cleaners!" And a massive drill head is coming
Yeah.
towards them. So they leg it, manage to go down a side passage, and then we see the back of the drill, which is amazing. It's basically Muppets, and it's a big like contraption. Like a
Mm.
bicycle contraption, and they're all pulling levers and stuff to make the drill work and propel it forward.
Yeah.
Just want to mention right at the beginning, Sarah has got on her wall one of those extra pictures of the weird impossible staircases,
Yeah.
which is referenced in Harry Potter, isn't it? That
A,
kind.
a lot of the things that show up in that first shot of her room also show up in the
Yes, you're
labyrinth.
quite right. You're quite
So
right.
there's the book
But that,
labyrinth. There's also like a little maze put like board game looking thing.
yeah.
The dog night.
So it's meant to intimate she's
Yeah,
dreaming, right? She's
yeah,
dreaming based on what's around her and what she's been reading and stuff like that. But they managed to get out, but then I can't remember. Did they get separated again, or did they have an argument? I can't
yeah.
remember.
So they get separated again. So Hoggle and her are wandering around a what looks like a more of a hedge maze part of the labyrinth.
Yeah, this is cool.
And Hoggle's like, I'll be by your side the entire time. She goes, yeah, you're a good friend. He goes, I've never had a friend. Are we friends? She goes,
Yeah.
yeah. And they hear a loud roar, and he goes, we're not friends, and just runs.
Runs away. Yeah, that was kind of funny. And it turns out we hear this roaring, and what it is there's a load of goblins teasing a troll that's hanging suspended upside down, right? This
Yeah,
big hairy Muppet thing,
yeah,
massive, and it's called Ludo. He's a troll.
yeah. It's a
Um,
big orangutan looking thing
Hoggle
with long
runs
ears.
away. Sarah says, "I wish I had something to throw," and we see this stone just roll towards her.
Yeah, this is a very curious, for lack of a better term,
Yeah, yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
just like,
Alice in Wonderland, isn't it?
yeah.
So she throws one at the rock at one of the goblins, hits it in the head, and so anyway, it turns out
It rolls back to her. So,
she gets rid of the goblins and unties Ludo, who falls on his head and is
mm,
moaning and groaning. Um, so she befriends Ludo, right?
mm,
So Ludo's a simple kind of a soul, right?
yeah.
He's a bit. What's that one in Game of Thrones? Hodor.
Uh, Hodor.
Hodor.
Yeah,
It's a bit like that,
yeah,
right? So she gets they're then going for a forest, which made me think of Wizard of Oz, with the
yeah,
bit where Dorothy's in the tree. That also happens a lot in Puff and Stuff. There's talking
yeah.
trees
Well, there's
that
the
can
evil
be aggy.
forest.
Yeah,
So
there's the Easel Forest, and indeed some of them look like those ones
yeah,
from Puff and Stuff. Is in the forest. Hoggle, we do find out, is kind of being do. Jareth's telling him things to do. Hoggle does not want to do them. Like you
yeah.
said, he was reluctant, but he's doing them.
He keeps
Um,
he keeps getting threatened with the bog of eternal
yeah.
stench.
So
So
Hoggle's there. Yeah, and what they'd say is if you set one foot in the foot into
the
the bog
bog,
of it, it smells so
like
bad you will always smell bad the rest of your days. That's the threat.
yeah.
So
And he
Jareth
keeps
finds
Jareth keeps throwing weird ways of phrasing the threat at him. He's like, "Oh, and if she kisses you, you'll turn into a prince." And he goes, "Will I?" And he goes, "Yes, a prince of stench!" Ha ha ha, and
yeah,
disappears.
yeah, yeah.
It's like,
Oh, and also
huh?
he gives Hoggle a peach to give
Yes,
to Sarah, so to make her forget everything, which is a bit Snow White and B a
yeah,
bit Dorothy and the poppy fields.
yeah.
For me, it was kind of reminding me of those.
Mm.
Um, Now he does, and he says, he's basically saying, "You'll do what I say, won't you?" And because Hoggle failed to take her back to the beginning of the labyrinth earlier.
Yeah.
Also, David Bowie, at one point, David Bowie, even because Sarah saying, "This is easy," she's shit talking him. The bit where, and he goes, "Oh, well, we'll cut down your time then."
Yeah, it's like,
And
oh,
it's just
okay, we'll
like,
take off three or so hours, right? And then the
oh,
clock clicks down very suddenly. And he's like, no, 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 no. He's already gone.
yeah.
So,
Sarah's meanwhile going through the forest, and she meets this weird
oh, the
disco
bird, yeah, the birds,
disco
yeah, the
disco
the fire gang,
fire gang,
yeah,
that's it,
yeah,
who can take their own heads off. Their heads aren't
yeah,
really attached to their body, and they think it's weird that her head can't come off her body,
yeah.
and
They
they say,
keep like leering in and being like, yeah, let's take your head off. Let's you should do this too.
and she's like, "What? No, no!" And she starts to run away. She's fighting back, but she's running. But Hoggle throws a rope down so she can climb up. Meanwhile, one of the heads is flapping
Yeah.
his ears and flying up to them, talking shit to them, and
Yeah, so get this. Multiple of the Fireys. Well, two of them are voiced by Danny John Jules, Cat,
really.
and one of them is voiced by Charles Hawkins, who's Queeg from Red Dwarf. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Weirdly, I watched a film the other day with him in, and it's like,
Okay.
wow, there he is. A film called The Tall Guy, with
Okay.
Jeff Goldblum, a comedy, and
Hmm.
he was like a choreographer
Okay.
for a new show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird to see him in a film. It's like, that's quick. But so yes, okay. How weird. There's a Red Dwarf
Mm.
connection to this.
Yeah.
Um, so they then Hoggle rescues her, and she's so grateful. She kisses it. He doesn't want to be kissed because of this threat from Joe. She kisses him because why'd you do that? Um,
Yeah. And
and then
they
they,
again fall down a trap door,
yeah,
and they
which is
almost fall into the bog of eternal
swamp,
stench.
which stinks terribly and has all these farting noises. And you see what look like sphincters, frankly, on the surface of
Yeah.
this water going
Yeah.
and letting out
Well, there's
smoke.
constant just farting noises, and I quite like that as they're about to fall in, the like they the swamp doesn't burp so much as it keeps going bog, bog,
Yeah.
bog,
Um,
and sort of like the da 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 sort of threatening thing, threatening musical tone.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. And then they actually then bump into Ludo, who's going bad smell, and all
yeah,
this. Ludo's a bit Frankenstein, Carlos Frankenstein, frankly, in places. He's kind of
yeah.
that side of thing. I think Bowie does more musical numbers as well.
Yeah,
All
so we
this is
kind of
going
missed
on.
out Dance Magic Dance. Where you go, you remind me of the babe. What babe? The babe with the power. And yeah, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I first time I heard that was from a different song that does the same thing.
Yeah,
Where it's like, oh, the power of voodoo, voodoo, you do
you do.
that.
Right,
It's
right,
a
right.
different song called "The Man with the Hex."
Yeah. Just what I
But
meant. Yeah, sorry, go on, go on.
no, that was it. So,
Um, Another thing, a film that this reminded me of another film was Hoggle, really.
mhm.
Is it reminded me of another film where there's a character a bit like Hoggle, who looks like a bit like Hoggle, which is Masters of the Universe, the Dolph
Yeah,
Lundgren one, which I quite like.
yeah,
Actually, I think it's a good fun film, and that has music is the key to opening gates to the universe and stuff like that. It's one of the
mm,
premises of that. Anyway, they're in a swamp. They found Ludo trying to make their way through it and not touch the water. They're kind of edging along. And then they
yeah,
meet this kind of cool dog,
yeah. A little
um,
dog knight
a
called
dog knight called Sir
Sir
Didymus.
Ambrosius,
Sir
Sir
Didymus.
Didymus. That's it.
And he's got a sheepdog as his horse, right? And
Yeah,
his sheepdog's called
Ambrosius.
Ambrosius. Who it's got an American accent, but you can tell it's affecting a British accent. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's that kind of which they do in the Muppets a lot, right?
yeah.
So they're saying we're the Guardians here.
Mm,
And they mention there's a bridge to cross the bog.
yeah.
Sarah's thinking that doesn't look. And they say no, it's fine. As soon as she crosses it, it collapses completely. So she's hanging off a tree branch.
Mm,
Um, so it's at this point, this is I didn't put together the thing
yes.
about the rocks. This point, Ludo manages to persuade rocks to form a bridge. So he has control of rocks, right?
Yeah.
Which explains why one rolled towards her when she was saying, I wish I had something to throw.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, right.
Yeah.
um,
Kind of. But
so they want to leave the bog, but Sir Didymus wants to help them in their quest. So they're
mm,
now a little band of five, right? This is kind of cool.
mm,
Um, Sarah does mention she's hungry, but they got to just keep going on. And this is where Hoggle gets the peach out and
yeah.
gives it to her, but he's so disgusted with himself.
He kind of runs
He
off.
says, damn. Doesn't he say something like, I like the line. It was something like, damn that Goblin King and damn me. And
Yeah.
just walks off. Quite a sort of mature line for something like this.
Yeah.
So she just has a bite and says it tastes weird, and then
Mm,
she kind of falls into a weird trance, and then sees herself in a ballroom in a full ball gown. It's like a masquerade ball.
yeah.
Jareth's in the ball, and they dance together, don't they?
Yeah. We get another song here, but I'm gonna be
This I
honest.
quite like this song.
I don't remember. I watched this a couple of days ago. I don't remember any of the songs except
No, they're not very
Dance Magic
memorable.
Dance.
Yeah, yeah, fair
So,
enough. I like this song, but I couldn't remember it. But I
mm,
quite liked it when I was listening to it. So she's like still a bit confused. It's very confused
mm,
Alice. It made me think of Alice again. So she and weirdly, I watched another version of Alice recently too, and
yeah.
so this was vibing with me. One from a very old one from 1972, a live action one, but there's a lot of facial makeup, loads of British talent in it. It's a British film with a score by John Barry of all people.
Okay.
So a lot of the musical cues do sound like James Bond. It's really weird.
Mm,
But it was okay. It was really interesting. Um, they had quite prestigious actors as like the Caterpillar and things like that, right?
yeah.
And the White Rabbit and things like that. Anyway, it just happened. I happened to watch it a few days before this.
Yeah.
Um, she's at this ball. She's trying to remember, but a clock. She sees a clock which reminds her of what her quest is, and she tries to run out, but she just sees a weird reflection of herself, like it's meant to be the surface of the bubble. They're in a bubble, right?
Yeah.
Is the concept, and so she picks up a chair and smashes through it. So she manages to um,
Yeah. Here's where I
then
kind of lost the plot on what was going
what
on
is
for a
going
bit.
on?
Because she smashes this and then she ends up in a junkyard.
And there's a weird old
Yeah, there's
kind of
like this junk
lady that
peddler
was.
crone that
Now, was
was.
she carrying something big on her back? Was she? I
I
couldn't
think she
work
was
out.
carrying a pile of junk.
Right.
So she and yeah, there was a whole bit where like Sarah kind of gets enticed and she seems to be back in her room, and she lies down on her bed and it's like, no, 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 there's something I was meant to do. She walks to the door, opens it, and the junkyard's there. And the
Yeah,
junk lady comes in, it's like, oh, lots of stuff here, lots of filth.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, starts wandering around. And then
Didn't quite sit
he
right with the rest of the
remembers
film, does it? Really,
and sort of climbs out of the trash pile, and Ludo and Didymus are right there and pull her out, and that's it.
yeah. Anyway, so
So
Ludo,
like it's so
Didymus,
strange.
and Ambrosius are there, and they carry on. They get to the castle, and I really like this bit. There's a big, massive guard,
Yeah.
massive. I
And it's
mean,
made by the gate closing, and like both parts of the gate have
yeah,
half the guard
really
on it.
cool. This is
And when
so
he
cool.
walks out, yeah,
But it turns
just a
out
big mecha.
it's a
So
big automaton controlled by
yeah,
a little creature inside, right? That's
yeah.
really cool.
And
But
Hoggle jumps on the top.
yeah, a bit Conan-y this. It just jumps on the top
Yeah, he
and
makes the
manages
save.
to open the top of it and pulls out this controlling thing.
Yeah,
Um, a
and then
creature that's
takes
controlling.
over for a little bit and uses it to smash open the
Um,
door.
Hoggle is really still ashamed of himself, but Sarah kind
Yeah.
of forgives him and says we're friends, which is really sweet.
Mm,
Jareth then realizes she's nearly at the thing, so
yeah.
so
He
he's
deploys the army.
I mean, but then a load of rocks turn up and start smashing into
Yeah.
them.
Ludo shouts for the
This is a good
rocks.
effect. There was some reverse projection.
Yeah.
It was cool. It
There
looked
was
good.
also the very funny bit of Sarah, Didymus, and Hoggle opened a door and ran inside, and then Ludo ran up, opened the side of the building, and then ran inside. That
Oh,
I quite
that
enjoyed.
reminds me that this we're going back to the oubliette now. When they're coming out of
Mm.
the oubliette, there's a bit that made me laugh where Hoggle was saying, "I think this is the door I opened it. It's his broom cupboard." He goes, "Oh no,
Mm.
no, hold on," and then he's just opened the door the other way, almost like the hinges were reversed, and they got out. It was kind of clever, and I
Yeah.
quite like that as a sort of thing. So yeah, so basically they managed to get past the Goblin army. Um, so Sarah says, I've got to go in alone, but I'll call
Yeah.
you if I need help.
Mm.
So then we get into the impossible staircase kind of
Yeah, we
room.
get the MC Escher with David Bowie walking around on other stuff, and he gets another song,
Yeah.
but
Um,
it starts to
Quite
get
short
really
though, isn't it?
creepy here.
Yeah, he
Not in a way
says
like,
things
oh,
like,
this film is like unsettling, but it's like he starts being like, you could roll with me,
and
and
he says something like, "Now I heard a podcast not or maybe a year or two ago, or a woman was talking about this film. She loves this film, and
mm,
she treats it as a coming of age stroke awakening of sexuality thing, and
yeah,
and this is a woman's words, not mine, right?
yeah,
She says something like, "Who can resist a charming stranger who says something like 'Love me and I'll be your slave forever'? Who can resist that as a young
mm.
girl, right?" Which is kind of interesting, but it's still creepy.
Yeah, it's
Sort of
really
thing.
creepy.
um,
She's 16, man.
yeah, and he's sort of saying basically, if she loves him, he will be her slave. Is what he's
Yeah,
saying. Um, and she starts to realize. Well, she remembers the final line of the book of what
yeah,
she's trying to quote, and what it is you have no power over me. Um,
mm.
so basically, Jareth's power comes from her
I mean,
believing that has power over her, right?
yeah,
So as soon as she starts to stand up, his power's weakened. It's a bit like that, right? Pennywise's
yeah.
power comes from
Oh
fear.
no, you're gonna add a third entity with Pennywise, Mary Poppins, and Jareth, the Goblin King.
Yeah, we got a new super entity.
Yeah,
No, I don't think Jareth's in the league of Pennywise and Mary
no.
Poppins. Um, so he gets weak and basically he then turns into an owl and flies away. Now we
Yeah,
do see an owl as a motif throughout, don't we? We see it in the beginning credits. We see an owl
yeah.
watching her when she's
Oh
doing
yeah,
her
the
lines.
awful CG owl in the credits is weird. It's a
Is it
choice.
CG? I
It
thought it
looks like
was.
prototype CG.
No, I think it's just animated, right? It's just an animated.
Mm,
I don't know.
maybe.
So she gets Toby back. Um, so
It kind of stops very abruptly. She gets
yeah,
Toby
she's back.
back and she gives him the teddy that he
She's got, and she says, I want Lancelot to be yours now. She's
yeah,
saying to a sleeping toddler, he's sleeping in at peace, right?
yeah.
but he does tuck her in, and then her father and stepmother return, um, and she's like,
Mm.
she's saying, and she sees, she starts to see, she's looking in the mirror, and she starts seeing them behind her, and she looks around, they're not there. She sees Ludo, she
Yeah,
sees Sir
Ludo Didymus
Didymus,
and
and things like that.
Holgle. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she says she acknowledges she does need them, and then a
Mm.
mental party
Yeah,
starts in her
it's a
rear.
dance party ending.
Yes.
So,
Um, so Jareth's just watching
as an owl.
as
Yeah.
an owl and then just flies off. Right.
Yeah.
He can't win. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it, really.
Mm.
Weirdly,
Yeah.
just also another thing I watched recently and just happened to coincide with this film is Toby's father, the actor playing Toby's father, is in Highlander, which I went to see at the cinema recently, and
Okay.
I really,
Who's he in
he's the
Highlander?
Mad Marine in Highlander. I'm pretty sure that's him. It looked like him. It might be a different actor, but I'm pretty sure it's him. Do you remember the Mad Marine that encounters the Kurgan fighting another guy in an alley, and he machine guns the Kurgan, and then
No,
the
I
Kurgan
don't
sticks
remember
a
this
long
guy.
sword through him and lifts him up bodily with one
Yeah.
hand. Yeah, does that ring any bells?
No.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. I tried to blot out a lot of what the Kurgan does in that
Why?
film.
It's great. Well, some of it.
Deeply unpleasant all the
Yeah,
time.
that's part
So,
of the fun.
mm,
So yes. Um, so yeah, it was kind of cool. Cool film.
mm. Yeah,
Some of
very fun.
the music wasn't very memorable. If the
Yeah.
songs had been better, this might have better legs. It was a bit of a flop when it came out, which I didn't know, but
Oh,
it's kind
bit
of
doesn't really cover it. It
was
made
it a
34 million.
disaster?
Yeah. So I think locally, I remember reading it was like 13 million locally. So in America, on an 18 million budget.
Yeah, but it did
Got
well
25
overseas, didn't
million.
it? Yeah,
So
it
yeah,
did well in the UK and Europe and the rest of the world. Did way better than it did in America.
yeah.
And I
It was
kind of see
also
why it
not
did
well
well here because it's
received
a
at the time.
British feeling
So
film, isn't it? Really.
yeah, like I said, it's a lot of very British humor.
The Muppets
Uh,
is like that, isn't it? Really, it kind
yeah.
of is. It's transatlantic. Is the Muppets? It's kind of
Well, yeah. So the Muppets was apparently filmed in mostly in the UK.
yeah. Loads of people flew in,
Yeah,
and they loved it. It was like one of them shows that everyone wanted to be on.
yeah. Well,
Um,
I've watched a bunch of stuff on the Muppets recently, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. But apparently, because they were like really hungry for guests, for big name guests, so that they could start getting more big name guests.
yeah.
So if you were on the Muppets, you were getting wined and dined the entire time, like
Okay.
constantly. So you were
Really
always,
looked after.
yeah, you were. If you, it's like, and word started to spread that it's like, if you want to be treated well, you go on the Muppets. So,
Yeah, and it's really interesting that a lot, if you look at the entire run of the Muppets,
mm,
some of the guests we wouldn't know in the UK, we just wouldn't know them people. And
mm,
similarly, there was British people on the Muppets that just wouldn't go. It wouldn't work across the ocean, right?
yeah,
So they wouldn't. For example, I don't think they ever showed, or maybe in its first airing, they ever showed the John Cleese one in America, for example, because he
mm,
wasn't that well known then, right?
yeah,
He is now, but
yeah.
Um, so yes, it's
We got a bit off track here, but yes,
yeah, yeah.
Labyrinth is a very good film.
Yeah, it
So,
was a fun film. I liked the Etcher stuff. I really liked the Muppets. All the Muppets were great.
mm,
And I quite liked the script. You're right, it did get a bit creepy at the end, but uh, it might be a thing of its time. We see things,
mm,
modernized, see things differently. There's a bit of that, but it's still kind of
yeah,
a fun film.
mm,
And like I said earlier, I feel like yes, it was kind of creepy dialogue, but they did it in a way where they they minimize. It could have been a lot creepier. Let's put it that way. Um,
yeah,
so I kind of appreciate it didn't go that far,
mm,
or they did it in a, a in a way that it wasn't too disturbing. I don't think. But
yeah.
what do I know? I'm old, right? You're a better judge of that than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, Bowie, when he first got the script, he thought it needed more jokes. He thought he wouldn't do it because it wasn't very funny.
Mm,
So they did they upped the joke bits to make it
mm.
more palatable to Bowie, and I'm glad they did. It was kind of fun. I like the little weird little characters. It was kind of where did this kind of thing start? Probably the Adams Family,
Yeah,
or
it's a good thing, good film for like the side freaks. It's like just
yeah.
weird little one-off things that's
Yeah,
like, oh,
Flintstones.
yeah,
Flintstones did
sure.
this a lot, right?
Yeah,
Flintstones, just little side characters talking away,
yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, so quite cool. Quite a lot of actresses auditioned for this, including Mia Sarah, who went on to be the main female lead in Legend. Weirdly,
Okay.
right? So I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
But I think Jennifer Connelly was quite good in this.
Hmm.
She was 14 when she auditioned, even though she was playing a 16-year-old. So yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but she would have aged
Uh,
into it during the production, I guess, right?
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, like everyone
the most
was.
upsetting thing for me for the whole film, even more creepy than the end, it was David Bowie's trousers. Right, they were
Yeah.
just too much. They were just way
Wow.
too
Okay.
tight.
So in the they saw the people that they went after for potentially being the Goblin King before they went to Bowie: Sting, Prince, Mick Jagger, and Michael Jackson.
Well, David Bowie is probably the best out of all of those.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I can't
maybe
see
Prince.
any
I
of
can
them.
see. I don't
Yeah.
know. I've never seen Prince act. I know he's got film Purple Rain. I've never seen it. Um, Sting's not a great actor, is he?
No. No.
Mick Jagger, no.
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 Yeah.
Michael
So,
Jackson would have totally derailed the whole thing.
mm,
But
yeah.
yeah, no, this worked well. Right, so it was done,
Oh,
but
another bit of trivia I do know.
yeah.
A lot of the dancing was choreographed by Gates McFadden, Dr. Crusher.
Really? That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's amazing. I didn't know she was a dancer. It
yeah,
makes sense. She looks like a dancer. Now you said it, does look. She's got like the physique of a dancer. I'm thinking of that scene in Next Gen where her and Troy have got those weird leotard things
yeah.
on.
You need to watch. You need to watch Lower Decks. They do a bit with that.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. Okay. Any final thoughts, and we'll score.
No, not really. If you want to see a film where David Bowie plays with his balls a lot, this is the film for you.
Yes, yes, he does love them crystal balls,
Yeah,
and it's funny that he couldn't do all that, so someone else has.
yeah,
Yeah, for me, this firmly goes in that a category I like, which is fantasy 80s movies, right? I do
yeah. The
like
dark
it.
fantasy sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
the kiddie friendlier end of it. I quite like the darker end too, yeah, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't group this with Conan or Excalibur, say.
Oh no,
Uh,
I'd put this. This is firmly with Dark Crystal.
Dark
Uh,
Crystal.
uh,
Uh, you mentioned it, Never Ending Story,
yeah,
Masters of the Universe,
yeah,
and
that
so on.
sort of thing.
Let's get Return to Oz.
Mm,
All that. Yeah, it was quite a delightful film. Quite enjoyed it. Wouldn't object to seeing it again. Don't
mm,
have any much memory of watching it before, but I have watched it before. But it was a long time
mm.
ago. But
Yeah.
yeah, the songs aren't great. They're
No,
not great
like
songs.
I say, the only one I remember is Dance Magic Dance.
Yeah, and that was the first one, right?
Yeah, that was the first one where he's hopping around with the baby, and there's all the goblins are his background singers.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a fun film. What would you rate it?
I put this an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. I'll give it 7 out of 10. Um, if the numbers, you know what, I reckon if the numbers had been more, if they'd have had a couple of real bangers in there that everyone knew, this
Mm.
would definitely go up and be
Yeah.
way more seen than it is. However, it was quite a delightful film, quite enjoyable.
Mm.
So that's a Daisy Day. So it'd be my choice next time. So I've got
Mm.
not many, a bit of voice work and David Bowie,
Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
So
if you look through the voices, there's quite a lot that aren't me.
yeah. Um, so I'll have a think about it. Yeah, I mean,
Hey, if you want to
didn't
go
Kenny
through it,
Baker?
the yeah, the size actors for the Goblin Corps, Kenny Baker's in there.
Can you rate
Lots
him?
of like more famous short little person actors.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So quite enjoyable. Quite enjoyed this. Good choice. So
mm,
right. So next time, even my choice, and I'll have a think about that. Right.
yeah.
So let's wind it up. So bye from me.
Bye.